Hello good people and welcome. My name's Dave and I'm going to be going over a review on my Warmoth Barden custom Tele guitar project. If you had a chance to see the comparison video that I did a while back comparing the GFS Tele body to the Warmoth standard Tele body, many people in there asked me to do a review once I got the guitars built. So got the Warmoth one done. It's been a long haul. When I originally started this project, I was starting to do something more of an inexpensive parts caster, but completely changed gears and went with something much more significant, and that's why it's taken me so long. Acquire all the parts, very expensive for me. I can't do this kind of a build every time I do a guitar, but this became more of a dream project for me, and I am very excited about the outcome. And so what I want to do is just kind of go through it, go part by part, and give you an idea of the finishing process I used, why I chose what I chose for this build. And it basically, as this project evolved, I found that there was three goals that I was looking for in this guitar. The first one was a really strong vintage vibe. It had to have that Telecaster sound. I mean, I didn't want to deviate from that at all, like with humbuckers or something like that. So those components kind of boiled down to the critical components to get that vibe for me was the neck, the body, the bridge, and the pickups. So those were key components, and we'll talk about those. The next goal I had was playability. I really wanted it to be a comfortable guitar because this is going to be my go-to guitar. I needed it to be lightweight. I wanted a nice comfortable neck profile. Ended up going with a compound radius neck, and we'll talk about that. And there's the bridge has a nice cutaway, and there's just some nice things that allow a better playability. And then the third was reliability, because I will be gigging and recording with this. So I do need to stay in tune. So I chose parts that will help prevent any tuning issues, premium electronics, and that was the criteria. So let's go through the components. I'm going to start with the body. The body again is a Warmoth 2-piece Swamp Ash, 4-pound 0-ounce, standard Tele, but drilled for a vintage bridge. It really was beautifully machined and ready to go. Talk about the finishing process. The first thing I did was I rubbed naphtha over the body, let it fur up, and then knocked it down with some sandpaper. I did that process a couple of times just to get it nice and smooth. So after wiping the body down with naphtha, I went ahead and grain filled it. I used a water-based product called Timbermate. It was highly recommended in some of the blog sites, and I found it to be just that, just a great product, especially when it comes to cleanup. It mixed up real well, went on and dried really quick. Could do a couple of applications of that, and it worked out really well. Let's see, StuMac also sells the same product under their color tone line, so you can get it through them as well. The next step was to finish it, and that would be with, I used the Re-Ranch product. Re-Ranch makes high quality nitrocellulose lacquer products. They both in color and in sand and sealer, primer, and clear coat. So I used their full line for this. So it started with sand and sealer. I think I did a whole can of sand and sealer on the body, and sand in between, of course, and get it nice and flat. Then I went with their primer, can of primer, and just a white primer there. Again, it was nitrocellulose. And then went with their 2 cans of Sonic Blue, and then 2 cans of clear coat. Now, I also clear coated the neck. I got this unfinished as well. Probably would have gone with 3 cans if I was to do this again, between the neck and the body. And to polish this, I used the Micro Mesh sanding polishing system. It's a series of 9 different grits that take you up to a mirror finish. It is 9 sheets of basically wet sandpaper, and so It is a little bit more time consuming than other methods, but I thought I'd give it a try, and I'm happy with the results, so that's what I used on this one. So after finishing, I went ahead and started the shielding process. So I had some copper shielding tape left over, so even though the pickups are noiseless, I decided to give a little extra assurance for avoiding any noise and shielding the pickup cavities and the control cavities. This is going to be again used for live stage and for recording, so really have a need for it being very, very quiet. That worked out real well. Then I went ahead and added the Joe Barden bridge, and the Joe Barden bridge has some unique features on it. It's got the brass saddles, just 3 brass saddles, again going with the kind of that strong vintage vibe, and then the bridge itself, the tray I think they call it, is made from the same alloy that the originals were made, only thicker. It's got a nice contact between the back plate where it mounts to the surface, and then they give you 2 extra screws here to get a really tight contact, so you get that whole tone wood connection. I was really happy with the compensated brass saddles. First I was actually concerned because not knowing how they were going to intonate with 2 strings per saddle, but because they're compensated they worked out really well, and it really adjusted fine, so I really have no intonation problems. Then I moved on to the control plate. Control plate was one of the things that I had already bought. It was kind of cheap. It was a Chinese made one. I think I would have upgraded to a Fender control plate just because I had to go ahead and drill out the holes, and because it was metric. But all in all, it's going to work out fine. But I think if I was to do it over again, I'd spend a couple extra bucks and get a Fender, so I wouldn't have to, drill them out and file it down. But anyway, I also went with the Fender heavy knurled knobs. You'll find these on the Telecaster basses. It's just a preference I had. And then I went with StewMac's Premium Electronic Kit for the Telecaster. That came with CTS pots, CRL switch, and the vintage pushback wire. Everything went together well. The new kits now come with orange drop capacitors, and I did upgrade. The one I bought like 2 years ago had ceramic, so I upgraded to the orange drop, and that worked out great. Joe Barden pickups. Joe Barden pickups. Now I know there's a love or hate debate going on with Joe Barden pickups. These are the Danny Gatton T style, and they are noiseless stacked humbuckers, but they really have this very, very strong vintage sound, and they are noiseless, and they are very high fidelity. And being high fidelity, it really helps with the quality of the sound. Each note just sparkles so well. I really like the clarity that I'm getting. Even with the neck pickup, you can really hear it, and we'll put it through its paces in a bit. But just a real nice bass line for clear tone, nice lively sound, and noiseless. So that was the big selling point for me. And in keeping with the reliability goal, I upgraded to a electro-socket jack plate. This holds a 1/4-inch Switchcraft instrument jack in place nice and secure, so there's no chance of it coming loose. Went with the Warmoth pickguard. I used the pickguard from Warmoth because I bought their body, their neck, and so I didn't, matching everything up, I wanted to make sure the profile was going to work. It's going to fit around the neck pocket, and then it's going to fit around the bridge and the control plate. So just for convenience factor, not having experience with Tele pickguards, I chose Warmoth since I was buying their products. I did upgrade to stainless steel screws. You certainly don't need to. Did that on the control plate as well, and also on the neck screws. Warmoth neck. This is their vintage modern, and this is a great neck. The only difference between their 100% vintage neck and their vintage modern is they allow you to adjust the truss rod from the headstock end, so you don't have to remove the neck, and that's a great playability. Well, not playability. That's just a convenience for getting your setup work done, and that set up real nice and flat. Went ahead and did a fret level job, and it with the stainless. I was concerned, working with stainless steel frets, but it leveled really nicely. I was able to do the full crown and dress each fret end, and I think lesson learned for me is if when I buy another neck, and it will be a Warmoth for any other guitar, I will spend the extra $20 and upgrade to stainless steel. I think that's well worth it. They just play really well. They're silky smooth, and was able to get a really nice fret dress on this. So I'm loving that. I went with the standard thin profile, and I was for comfort. I really was going back and forth between more of a classic, because the strong vintage vibe goal, but again, I wanted the playability, so I've got small hands, and I went with an 1 5/8" neck, and I went with 22 frets, and this is a compound radius. So if you're not familiar with compound radius, they start out kind of tight on this end. With Warmoth, it's a 10-inch radius, so it's great for cording. But as you go up the neck, it starts to flatten out, and by the time you get down to the end, it's a 16th of a 16-inch radius. And it's nice and flat for lead playing. So it's this compound radius, and I had a friend that allowed me to play on his, and that sold me. And I'm telling you, I really am enjoying this compound radius. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Went with the vintage Goto tuner style. It's got the split shaft. It's got the hole down the center, very Fender-ish, and they're lightweight, easy to install, and nothing fancy. I really was considering doing a locking, but I was more concerned about it because this was so light. I didn't want it to be head heavy. So right now I've got a really good balance, and that worked out well. So Goto tuners. I went with a Tusk XL nut and a Tusk XL string tree, mainly to prevent any kind of tuning issues. I started with a blank and made my own, so this was a new experience for me, and I really enjoyed making the string nut, and I was happy with the way that turned out. And so it was just a matter of getting it all set up and dialed in. The slot, the spacing on the strings is critical, and the height. So still kind of tweaking this guitar, but for now it's like 98% there. Went with Fender strap buttons. I am thinking about going to a lock system, and I did start off with these. It was actually on eBay for $1 and no shipping. So I actually got 99-cent 2 string buttons, and I kept thinking, putting all this money into this, do I really want to rely on 99-cent strap buttons? So I did go ahead and order the Fender one of the few Fender parts on this build, and there's a significant difference in the material and the weight and the thickness of it. So I think it was like $5 or $6, and it came with the felt pad. So I would, I would spend a few extra bucks just for that if you're not going to go with locking. And I think I am going to go with locking at some point. I just ordered the string furls from Warmoth, figuring that it would fit their product properly. Nothing fancy, just their chrome ones. And then again, the other place I went cheap on was this Chinese neck plate, but I did upgrade the screws to stainless steel. So went with that, and that went on really nicely. All right, time to let you hear what it sounds like and know what you think. I'm going to just kind of give you a little sound on each pickup, and I'm going to be playing through a Fender Bassman 59 reissue. Nice clean sound, no effects, So I'm not a country player, but I'm hoping that this will inspire me to play. Alright. Okay, now we'll put on the middle position. And now the neck position. My favorite right now is the middle position, just because of the style of music I play right now. But when you play through a little distortion, give it a little edge, it really it turns out to be a nice blues position as well. And then I certainly want to be inspired to play a little bit more of that country Travis Pickens style. Appreciate you watching. The next build we're going to be doing, going to take that GFS and route it out to make it a thin line. And looking forward to that build. So thanks a lot. Appreciate you watching. Take care.